Now on the CTV News at 11:30, guilty. The man who drove into a crowd of people outside an Alberta bar is convicted. Also, help wanted, why the job market may soon explode in Alberta. And stowaway snake. We'll tell you about an unexpected visitor in the Southwest today.
CTV News with Chris Epp.
Good evening. The man who stormed out of a bar and drove into a crowd of people, killing a college student, is going to jail. Just hours ago, a guilty verdict was handed down in the case of Jeffrey Lynon. Bill McFarland reports.
Guilty of second-degree murder and of aggravated assault, a mandatory life sentence for Jeffrey Lynon. But for the family of Nicholas Bayer, who was run down by Lynon outside a bar in Olds, there's no hope for a different future, a future that should have included the bright, hard-working young rancher.
You know, it wasn't joy or sorrow depending on the verdict. The outcome is that Nicholas is never coming home. There is absolutely no winners in here, either family.
In October 2010, Lynon was thrown out of the Texas Mickey Bar in Olds for fighting. A few minutes later, he ran his pickup through a crowd of people gathered outside, killing 18-year-old Nicholas Bayer and badly injuring Dan Skoktapol, who was then 19. RCMP arrested Lynon a short distance away after a brief chase. Along with testimony from numerous witnesses, disturbing security video of the crime helped secure the conviction.
We were confident, though we're never sure, that this was property of manslaughter. So I don't know that they were prepared for this, no. I mean, you've got two families who are deeply, deeply injured. I mean, there's a young man who's dead who won't be with his family over Christmas. That family must be suffering greatly. My client's family will as well.
It took the jury 5 hours to reach a verdict, twice pausing to ask for direction from the judge. In part, the case is unusual because a vehicle was the murder weapon.
And we were told by the Crown and the RCMP that there has never been a conviction for murder where a vehicle is the weapon in Canada.
Lynon is back in court on Friday as victim impact statements from 8 people are entered. Lawyers may also begin sentencing submissions. The judge still has to determine the minimum sentence before parole eligibility, somewhere between 10 and 25 years. Bill McFarland, CTV News, Calgary.
Calgary police are asking the public for help in their search for a woman involved in a deadly fight. Police believe Michelle Adams stabbed a man who is now charged with the murder of their friend. 42-year-old Michelle Lee Adams, known as Missy, is wanted for aggravated assault. On November 20th, Norman Andrews was found dead at a house in Killarney. Police believe the 47-year-old died after a fight broke out at the home. Jeffrey Langdon was found on the street with serious stab wounds, and police believe Adams was responsible for those injuries. Langdon has since recovered, and last night police arrested him at a home in the Northeast. The 42-year-old is now charged with second-degree murder.
This situation involves a group of friends who have been friends for several years. It's very unfortunate that an argument started, it turned to an altercation, and where one person ended up to be seriously stabbed, another person ended up to be dead. It's very tragic.
Police say they have been looking for Adams but haven't had any luck. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. Victims of a recent arson had their day in court today. They spoke about the trauma they experienced after their neighbor, Edward Allen Talmadge, torched the building they all lived in. It happened on September 14th. 41-year-old Talmadge was involved in a domestic dispute and, in an act of revenge, set the triplex they all lived in on fire. Talmadge pleaded guilty to 1 count of arson endangering life involving 4 victims. All 6 people in the triplex managed to get out alive. Today they relived the terrifying experience and spoke about the impact it had on them.
Depression and a job loss. My boss was not really understanding about what happened with the incident. Why did I need a few days off? So I lost my financial stability quite a lot.
Talmadge is representing himself in the case. The Crown is asking for a sentence of 3 to 4 years in jail. It's scheduled to be sentenced in January. The help wanted ads could be going up soon. A new survey of employers indicates many of them are about to start hiring. That's especially true in Alberta. Reg Hampton reports.